Welcome back to Believe It or Not, the series where I watch Naruto and give you my personal, spicy hot takes on this age-old anime. When last we watched, the Leaf Village discovered that Sasuke had disappeared, and with no adults to handle the retrieval, the 5th Hokage handed this mission off to a bunch of children. Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba, Neji, and Naruto began chasing after the Sound Ninjas, and one by one, they began fighting. Choji took the red pill, Neji squashed a spider, and now Kiba, Shikamaru, and Naruto have their own Sound Ninjas to face, none more deadly than the mysterious Kimimaro. Today we are going to be covering episodes 120 to 129 of original Naruto. Episode 120, Roar and Howl Ultimate Tag Team. We start the episode off cutting between our various fights. We see Kiba in the pit dealing with Do-Re-Mi Sound Boy. We see Shikamaru in the trees dealing with Tayuya and her goons. And of course, Naruto is still in this field with Kimimaro. He's got all these shadow clones ready to pounce. But we're not on those fights yet. Instead, we go back to the pit. We look at Kiba. Kiba is doing dog-related things, and he is fighting against conjoined twins? We learned that Do-Re-Mi Sound is actually two brothers, Sakon and Ukon, so they're like fighting against Kiba. They go second state, and for a moment you'd think, oh, these two, they're like twins, they have some kind of like demon aesthetic to them. Maybe they're gonna do like red Oni, blue Oni, because that's the classic pairing. But no, they're both just red Oni. They're both just red devil guys, so whatever. Yeah, Kiba is in the pit. He's using his various dog moves to slice through them. He separates the two boys and suddenly gets beat on by two people instead of just one, which is a whole thing. And we do see him bring back the piss tricks from earlier in this arc. There is now a stink on them that Kiba can use to his advantage. They also fuse into this like large two-headed wolf, which is really sick. Credit where credit's due. Kiba has one cool thing that he's capable of doing. The rest is kind of whatever. Old Sakon decides that he's going to attach himself to Kiba's body and just start slowly sucking his chakra out. This is like their ultimate way of assassinating people, is just acting as this like malignant tumor on them. But Kiba is a crazy man, and his first instinct is just to stab himself. And that is unexpected in this crazy suicidal ninja world. Apparently, no one has tried this. Yeah, this episode was a 6 out of 10 for me. There were a lot of flashbacks across the ep, and you know, it's a Kiba fight. I have come around on a lot of these boys. It's gonna take a lot for Kiba to make me interested in him. I do think having Akamaru pee on people is funny though. Episode 121, To Each His Own Battle. Yeah, it looks like the self-stab did work very well. Sakon and Ukon are very taken aback by this, and they'd have no way to deal with it, so they are kind of scrambling. While the Sound Ninjas scramble, Kiba decides to get the hell out of Dodge because he and Akamaru have taken quite a beating. It's at this point where we get a little bit of flashback to like how they met, you know, how he got Akamaru as a little pup, and I guess Akamaru is technically a wolf puppy, because like his parents all have wolves and this is just like fully a dog looking dog, but I don't know, maybe he'll become more wolfish as he ages. Yeah, we cut back to the more interesting fights. Specifically, we cut to Naruto and Kimimaro, who are going crazy. He's using some dances, he's using some bone spikes, and this is where we get the real reveal of Kimimaro. I was wrong. In the last episode, I said that Kimimaro lost his Kekkei because of his illness. I was under that assumption. That is wrong. He still has his Kekkei. He's just very sick. So he's using these like bone swords. He's like pulling bones out of his body to like attack Naruto. It's kind of cool. I think it's pretty fresh. So they're fighting. We don't get a whole big taste of that battle, just something to chew on. We cut back to Kiba. He's still on the run, but he can smell the pee-pee smell in the distance. That is the ultimate hunter's move of tracking someone by piss. Yeah, we do have a moment where Kiba's running away and he does detect that there are other people showing up on the scene, a fun teaser for things to come. But yeah, he's doing bad. He's just running away. Then right at the end, we check in on Shikamaru. He's realized that these three goons that Tayuya is using are being puppeted by her flute. And so naturally, he's got to target Tayuya if he wants to do anything about these goons. This episode was a 7 out of 10. I've rated it a 7 out of 10 purely because I think something cool is going to happen in these next couple of episodes. This one itself, it seems like they're kind of, the fights are petering off, or they're just not letting us see the cool stuff. Episode 122, Fade Out, Shikamaru's comeback. Naruto is still fighting Kimimaro. He is doing his best. We look over at the bucket that Sasuke's in. It's starting to like bubble up. It's starting to smoke a little bit at the top. Yeah, meanwhile in the Shikamaru and Toyuya fight, we see these like devil goon guys are like summoning these weird ghosts out of their mouths. I guess that's something that they can do. And yeah, in classic Shikamaru fashion, he takes one good look at Toyuya and says, "Don't worry, I've got this all figured out. I can beat you in 9 moves. And he starts going strategy mode. He's fucking with her. Like he's jumping around all over the place to try and trick her. He is using these flashbangs to summon shadows, and he does inevitably get her in his like shadow possession jutsu, but she goes second state now that Shikamaru has her in his grasp, and this like additional strength is allowing her to kind of like break free of his shadows. They're like wrapping around her neck to choke her out, but she's like, nah. And yeah, she starts to subject him to a genjutsu, which makes like everything all weird and melty, and there's a bit of a like struggle here. You know, Shikamaru is doing his best to try and break out of it, but it might not be enough. This episode's an 8 out of 10. I do like watching Shikamaru go to work. I think he's very fun. He is not the #1 women hater. That's Kishimoto, but he comes to a close second. Episode 123, The Leaf's Handsome Devil. We are back in the Naruto Kimimaro fight, and it is not going well. Naruto is actually losing. Everybody's kind of doing bad right now. Like Shikamaru is in a stalemate with Toyuya. Kiba is like wounded and trying to heal himself. And if things couldn't get worse, Sasuke pops out of the barrel. He's like a little bit like second state, so it starts to like retract as he comes out of the pod. Naruto assumes that he can get through to his friend and like tries to be friendly, but that's a wasted effort, and he starts running away. And as Naruto sits there thinking, oh god, I can't let him get away, he gets a little help from my main man, Rock Lee, off the top rope. That's him. That's the splendid ninja. Rock Lee shows up in our time of need, and he is doing well. He knocks Kimimaro around, and he just lets him know that Rock Lee is him. It does seem that Lee left the village without alerting anyone. This was something that he did completely independently. He was not given the okay by Tsunade for healing. He was not told by Might Guy to do this. He just left. And he took his special medical elixir with him. So there's this kind of back and forth at this point where Tsunade's talking to Might Guy, and Rock Lee is like facing off against Kimimaro, and he says like, oh, I gotta take my elixir really quick. And we realize this is no elixir. This is something that Rock Lee has dipped into before in Might Guy's experience as his mentor. Fully, this is just alcohol. This is just sake. And Rock Lee just downs that stuff, gets a little tipsy, and you know he's going into that like drunken master style. I had a whole rant last time about how we gotta stop letting children do these things to themselves. We gotta stop letting children just drink in the village. It's not great. This is a 9 out of 10. I was riding high watching this episode. Seeing Rock Lee come back and immediately do something new and cool, even if that is underage drinking, it filled my heart with so much love. Episode 124. The Beast Within. So Rock Lee is being classic drunken master here. He's like schmooving all over the place unpredictably. He's falling asleep, getting back up. He is just a hilarious little drunk boy. We check in on some of the other fights. Kiba is still like swimming in a river trying to get away. Shikamaru is still dealing with Toyuya. It's a whole thing. Lee is doing amazing. He apparently is like a menace after having one drink. So he downs this entire bottle in front of Kimimaro, and it is making him go beast mode. But it runs out. He gets sober pretty fast, and he starts getting beat on. The tides are turning. Everybody is doing kind of bad. And then the heroes arrive, the true heroes. Just when you thought we had gotten all the help we could get, the Sand Trio arrives. We got Kankuro helping out Kiba. We got Tamari helping out Shikamaru. And of course, Gaara has come to help out Rock Lee. It's wonderful. I love this episode. This is another 10 out of 10 episode for me. I liked the fight with Rock Lee. I thought that was sick. And then, after feeling like we had pushed through all of the surprises in this arc, we get Sand Trio arrival. It was so good. I love this. Episode 125, the Sand Shinobi, allies of the Leaf. So yeah, everybody's here now. They are posted up. They all look very cool. Everybody but Kankudo has a new outfit. Gaara immediately just starts dunking on Lee for like, you shouldn't be doing this. You're too weak type shit. Everybody's got something new that they've got going on. Kankudo has a brand new puppet. He is now working with 2 puppets, which makes him twice as strong, I guess. So he's using these puppets in really cool ways. Once again, I love Kankudo's abilities. I think that his puppets are cool. He has this other one named Black Ant, which has this crazy looking face, but it is effectively like a trap puppet. He forces Sakon and Ukon into the puppet and it like skewers him like some kind of Iron Maiden. So that's cool. Shikamaru and Tamari are working together in classic Shikamaru fashion. He can't help but dunk on a woman, but she is proving him wrong. She is doing so good. Oh yeah, Tamari summons this little like ferret beast who she just like fires at Tayuya and it just like destroys everything, and they manage to kill both the other sound ninjas. So yeah, this is a 9 out of 10 for me. I love the Sand Trio. I love that they are all showing a little bit of growth after the Chunin exams. Obviously, Gaara not being an unstable freak is immense growth. He doesn't really need to do much with his powers because they were already awesome, but I like Tamari's new thing and I love Kankudo's new puppet. Episode 126, Gaara versus Kimimaro. Gaara has a moment here right at the top where he's like reflecting on how he almost ruined Rock Lee's life. It's good to see him showing some amount of remorse. Yeah, Kimimaro is now doing this like crazy bone stuff. He like fires a bunch of like fingertip bones out of his fingers as bullets. Gaara is like creating so much sand by like funneling more of his sand into the earth and like grinding up the dirt and the rocks to just turn it into sand. It's crazy. I mean, he's got infinite material now. Nobody can stop him. We go back to Naruto, who's like chasing after Sasuke in the woods. He's giggling the whole while, you know. Sasuke's kind of a crazy man. They go into a cave where I guess Sasuke hits Naruto with like a genjutsu. He's just forced to endure like trauma flashbacks of everybody hating him and being a loner. So that's fun for Naruto, I guess. And then we get a little view of Kimimaro's backstory. He seems to have been like raised in a cave. He wasn't allowed to interact with anyone else, but they let him out one day to like go crazy on the village hidden in the mist. I guess, you know, in classic ninja style, they raised a child soldier. Funny enough, they free him and they're like, all right, buddy, go fight. Immediately, Kimimaro runs into the village and bumps into Haku and Zabuza, who kind of give him a look of like, you don't want this, and he just moves on, which is a fun little moment. And then he runs into Orochimaru. So it's just a bad path. Everybody on there was just kind of messing with him. But, you know, Orochimaru's like, hey, I'm not a part of this village, but you go crazy, you little bloodlust child. Kimimaro does kill for a little bit. His entire clan does. We find out that he's from the Kaguya clan, which is definitely not important at all. But they're all murdered. It's pretty bad. His entire clan is annihilated. And so as he's running away from the battle, he runs back into Orochimaru, who's like, hey there, little guy, do you want to be groomed? Do you want to become my new vessel? JK. Anyways, I'm gonna help you out. And yeah, Kimimaro joins Orochimaru that day. Oh yeah, and then we have this moment of like, oh shit, what is gonna happen with Naruto in his weird genjutsu prison? He like imagines Neji, and then Neji goes, you can do it, Naruto, don't let him beat you, and then just breaks out. And back in the Kimimaro fight, he is finally going second state, and he looks like he's got some kind of weird dinosaur thing going on. So that's fun. This episode was a 7 out of 10. You know, there's a couple slow points in here, but you know, that's how it goes with backstory episodes. You gotta kind of fill in those story gaps. Episode 127, Vengeful Strike, the Bracken Dance. So yeah, Kimimaro's just a dinosaur now. He's got this like big tail with like bone spikes on it. He's running around. He pulls out his like entire spinal column and uses that as like a whip sword, which is pretty cool. Immediately in response, Gaara like makes this giant sand dummy. Kimimaro makes like a giant bone spear. They're just doing cool moves at each other. It is pretty sick. It is cool ninja to cool ninja communication. We get a little bit more flashback stuff. Like Orochimaru and Kabuto are talking about Kimimaro and like, you know, his whole relation to the sound ninjas, how he's the strongest and all that stuff. There's like a whole section of flashbacks where Kimimaro was just there with Orochimaru and Kabuto like the whole time. They're like about to go and sneak into the village for the Chunin exams. They go and murder the Sand Hokage or whatever, and Kimimaro was just there. There's just this funny sequence of like, oh yeah, and also my good friend Kimimaro, who was always there helping us. But, you know, he gets sick and he has to kind of step down, so you know how it goes. The fight is getting tense. Gaara's doing what he can to deal with Kimimaro, but Kimimaro's starting to go crazy. He like summons a bunch of bone spikes that like cover the arena, but Gaara can just like create these sand cushions for him and Rock Lee to float on. So that's fine. And right in the last moment when it looks like Kimimaro is going to strike and finish things, he just dies of illness, which is unfortunate, but you know, that's what it's like when you're sick, I guess. So yeah, Gaara and Rock Lee take a moment to unwind after the fight, and then they talk together. They actually chat about everything, and Gaara drops this hard line about, you know, sometimes you seek the companionship of an evil person, and that's better than being alone. And I think that was that's pretty dope shit that you said, Gaara. Pretty cool. This episode was an 8 out of 10. It's a solid end to Kimimaro, and I liked seeing Gaara deal with it. He was doing some crazy stuff this episode. Episode 128, A Cry on Deaf Ears. So we're back at the heart of this show, the conflict between Sasuke and Naruto. They are standing on these two massive statues. They are surely of people who are very historically relevant to the story of Naruto. I'm liable to believe that one of them is an Uchiha. The other, I'm pretty sure, is the first Hokage of the Leaf Village. So, you know, maybe those guys were buddies. Maybe they got into fights. Who knows? There is a slew of flashbacks here while Naruto is trying to deal with this revelation that Sasuke is gone crazy. He thinks of all the wonderful times they spent together, all the moments they fought. Naruto like jumps on him, and then they like get each other in this like very emotional hold. I understand why people say, you know, Naruto and Sasuke. I get it. I'm happy for them. You know, Naruto lays the whole thing out to Sasuke, really explains in the clearest words that he can muster that Orochimaru just wants to use him for his body. He is literally just going to possess him, but Sasuke doesn't care because the only thing that matters is eventually dealing with Itachi. So, whatever. The two of them are fighting. Sasuke is like embracing his curse mark more and more. And then there's just a tiny little flashback where we look at a young Sasuke and his big brother Itachi and how good things used to be. Yeah, this episode was an 8 out of 10. Naruto gets the shit beat out of him, and it does look like he's kind of dead at the end of this episode, so I guess I eagerly await to see more of Sasuke's role as protagonist of this show. Good stuff surely is on the way. Episode 129, Brothers, Distance Among the Uchihas. We got a new opening this time. The opening is by Stance Punks, who did the first Soul Eater ending, which I really like, so I like this opening by extension. Yeah, Naruto pops back up. He is fighting back tooth and nail against this Sasuke boy. He's talking some hateful shit about the Leaf Village, all that good stuff. And then it's another full Uchiha flashback moment. We find out that the Uchihas established a police force in the Leaf Village. We get like a lot more insight into who Sasuke's dad was and that he was kind of a piece of shit. We see that Itachi was like primed to join the Anbu Black Ops, and you know, that responsibility made him the more important one in the family. He does everything he can to try and like support Sasuke. Like Sasuke's graduation is taking place and fully his father is just like, no, that doesn't matter. We need to think about the mission. And then Itachi's like, no, we should go to Sasuke's graduation. Don't you think that would be a good thing to do to your son? So anyways, it's a classic case of dad who just don't fuck with his son no more. Even with all this, Sasuke has this like complex about wanting to be as good as his brother, so he's trying to train extra hard. Even though he's like 5 years old, he still can't measure up to his brother, so that's a whole thing. And then we see this argument break out later in the episode, where it seems like some of the other Uchihas are suspecting Itachi did something to a Shisui Uchiha. Seems like Shisui did not show up for a certain meeting, and Itachi also didn't show up for that same meeting, so perhaps they were together? Perhaps he's the reason for Shisui's disappearance? Who knows? After being pushed a good bit by his family, Itachi kind of pops off, starts talking some shit about transcending and all that stuff. He's being weird again. Sasuke kind of speaks up and they all cool down. They all go back to normal. But yeah, it's very clear that Itachi was on some weird shit about trying to achieve the next state. He was trying to upgrade his Sharingan, and killing the Uchihas had to do with that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this episode was a 9 out of 10. This is a good example of good backstory. I like this. I like learning more about Sasuke's family. It kind of recontextualizes a lot of things. It seems like the Uchihas were not super cool people. Perhaps, maybe. I don't want to fully sell myself on this theory, but maybe Itachi was right. The overall ranking for this batch of episodes is an 8.1 out of 10. That's good. That's a good rank. These were good episodes. We are right at the precipice of the end of original Naruto. Things are hitting an all-time high. I am so very excited to see, well, the last 9 canon episodes of original Naruto. But that will have to wait for next time. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for joining. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of my words and deeds. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and continue to believe it.